Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first official video for Shushoku Cafe. My name is Kasia. I'm here from Ikigai Connections, and with me is Dozo.
Hi, my name is Takeshi. I'm from Quick USA.
We are creating these videos to help job seekers understand a little bit more about the various industries and job roles that are out there. So Takeshi-san runs he works with a recruiting company, and I run a job board. So on a daily basis, we see all these jobs coming through, and we don't think that everybody fully understands what exactly these jobs are about. So in this video series, we're going to be digging into these topics. Today's topic is about the manufacturing industry in general. So, manufacturing could be automotive, electronics, food, anything you can envision that includes a manufacturing process. But today, we're going to talk about manufacturing, specifically what it is, if you can use your Japanese cultural skills, and if you can use your Japanese language skills. So there's 3 main bullet points. Are you ready, Takeshi-san?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about office versus factory. So I'll speak about office, and then I'll baton tachi to Takeshi-san about the factory. So in the office, there's all kinds of departments. There's administration, human resources, accounting, sales and marketing, project management, design, and maybe even purchasing, logistics, depending on where they're located in the company. So each of these departments has their own skills that they're looking for in their employees that work there. And sometimes you can work in the accounting department, for example, and know nothing about the factory side. You're just looking at the numbers. And of course, I'm giving generalizations right now, but I just want you to know that sometimes you can find a job in these departments and not let the word manufacturing scare you, in a sense. So now I'm going to baton tachi. Takeshi-san, talk to us a little bit about the factory side.
Okay, yes. So before talking about the factory side about manufacturing, the most question which I always have when I talk with a candidate is when we say about manufacturing, they are scared about, I'm not engineer background. I have no idea about graphic design or electronic things, or I have no interest about the details. I always tell them, don't worry about it. Manufacturing is just one industry, same as other industry too. So it's nothing different. Like if it's office work, like accounting, it's same as accounting work, other industry. So please don't shut down your door. Like just hearing about the manufacturing, because it's everything is the same. And going for talking about the factories in here is like I'm gonna talk about Japanese manufacturing company in US. So when they have factories in there, as Kasia-san said, there's all kind of a department for the administrative job and the back offices. And also, when they have a factory, they have local employees to work in the line, or they have a mechanical engineer, or they have a maintenance engineer. There's so many different type of the job which is related to the manufacturing in there. But also, there's a unique position for Japanese manufacturing company in US is they always need somebody who can be the bridge between the local manufacturer employees and from the office or from the headquarter or from the dispatch person coming from Japan to there. So in factory, Japanese manufacturing, there's a unique position, like they're going to be like a translator, or there's an entry level who's going to be supporting for those manufacturing engineers, something like that. So they majority, like 80%, 90% of the worker is local employees, and only a few people is coming from Japan. So they always need somebody who can be bridge in there.
Exactly. And that leads to the second point, which Takeshi-san so beautifully introduced. So many people are asking, what can I do at these companies? Can my Japanese cultural skills, for example, apply? So Takeshi-san mentioned these bridges like kakehashi employees. So we'll start with the culture knowledge first, and then we'll talk about language. If you lived in Japan, say on a JET program, maybe you were there during college for a study abroad program, even high school, you kind of already have a good understanding that, it's very formal. If you have ever seen a kind of meeting, you know that business cards are important, especially if you were teaching in a school and you were part of the teachers group, that maybe sometimes decisions take a little bit longer, and that maybe in a meeting nobody really says much. That kind of basic information, of course, you can have much deeper knowledge and experience in that as well. But just understanding that such a thing exists is really going to help you out in working for a company that works with Japan, whether they have a headquarters in Japan or have Japanese clients. But also, there's a lot of interesting Japanese words that are very popular especially in the US and especially in manufacturing. So I'm going to introduce 4 of them, and maybe I'll ask Takeshi-san to kind of give a quick overview what they mean.
Mhm.
So they're kaizen, hourensou, nemawashi, and 5S. Dozo, Takeshi-san, could you give us a little bit of information?
So yes, so as for Kaizen, it's very famous from Toyota's like manufacturing and automotive. Like they keep improving the all of the functions about businesses. And then one good things for the candidate or for the workers who are working in the company is Kaizen doesn't only mean about the product improvement, it's also for your human person improvement as well. So those company who has a Kaizen idea, they are more flexible about the mistake. They are okay to accept the mistake. What is there more important is now how you're going to improve for that. So that Kaizen idea is very unique for Japanese company, and it's big benefit for the employees who are working in there. And then well, hourensou and nemawashi, like we can talk about this for hours and hours. It's a lot of the different way about approaching and communicating for between the group, between the boss and the employees. So knowing those culture, it's a big plus because explaining about these ideas very difficult to understand at the beginning. So if you know about those culture, if you know already about it, that will be so big plus for them.
Yes, thank you so much. And if anybody's interested, on the Ikigai Connections YouTube channel, there are a couple of videos briefly explaining these concepts. So if you're interested, we'll have the links in the description below if you want to dig deeper. But even if you've only heard a little bit about these words and you've experienced a little bit in Japan, note that you can use those soft skills
Mhm.
you can mention it in your cover letter, you can add it to your resume, and a company that deals with Japan, especially in the manufacturing industry, will be like, oh, this is interesting. They know Japanese business concepts. So that
Mhm.
will be helpful for you as you apply for jobs. So anything else, Takeshi-san, before I move on to number 3?
No, I think you're right. Like, so many candidates asking, like, I just been there for 1 month, or I just been there for 1 semester, something like that. Don't worry about it. It's already a huge, big plus. You've been there. You communicated with there. So please mention for that. It's gonna be a big plus for that.
Exactly. All right, so that was Japanese culture. Now let's move into Japanese language. And I'd like to describe language skills in 3 categories: basic, intermediate, and advanced or native. So I'll give a couple of examples of each, and I'll also ask Takeshi-san to give his recruiting perspective as well as a multilingual perspective, because Takeshi-san knows so many languages as well. So, but first of all, for basic, even if you have basic communication skills, greetings, you just are familiar with hiragana, katakana, basic, maybe even desmas form if you're studying the Japanese language, general communication will help you in communicating with, for example, expats who've moved from Japan to the US and now they're working in this manufacturing environment, like Takeshi-san mentioned earlier. And maybe you can help with just basic communication and make them feel welcome. And maybe if you have the desire to learn and improve, you can absolutely do that too. Anything else, Takeshi-san, on basic before I move to intermediate?
Uh, no, and then as you said, like a basic level is already big plus as well. Like maybe while you're in the meeting and then most of the expat is talking everything in Japanese, even you don't understand all the sentence, but if you can catch a few words for that, then you might get a little bit more idea for that. So at least you have the basic is already a big plus for you to be there.
And a lot of times when Quick USA has a job ad posted, you can see that a lot of times these positions say that Japanese language skills aren't required, but they're
Hmm.
appreciated.
Hmm.
So there are jobs out there like this. And I think you can. I know when we study Japanese, we don't have enough confidence and we say we'll never be fluent, but sometimes just having a little bit of knowledge will definitely get your foot in the door. So the next category for Japanese language is intermediate skills. So let's say you have a little bit more advanced, and for intermediate, I often say maybe 3 years of college, a little bit of time in Japan. You're familiar with, I know it's hard to do this, but all four speaking, listening, reading, and writing categories. It's very difficult for everybody to master all four, so don't feel bad if you only have like speaking and listening. This is where you can help people with, if you are better at speaking and listening, then you can be in a meeting, just like Takeshi-san mentioned. You hear that there's something happening in a meeting and you can help a little bit with what the topic is. Maybe you think that there's some kind of misunderstanding. Maybe you can say, "Chotto matte kudasai, please wait. I think we have an issue here." And you can help with verbal support. If you're better at reading and writing, you can help with some email translation, because sometimes, yes, you can use Google Translate or DeepL, but sometimes the nuance doesn't come through in these AI tools. So sometimes it can be just you reading and knowing the subject in English and maybe Japanese and helping on an intermediate level. What about you, Takeshi-san? Any idea about intermediate that you want to talk about?
Intermediate, it's like as you explained, like I understand same way. And also, if you can speak intermediate level of Japanese, and a Japanese expat coming to US, they speak intermediate about English level. So if you combine both, they talking intermediate English, you talking intermediate Japanese, then you can be communicating, you can be working together. So it's it's already above their expectations. And then I think I see like that's the point when a candidate wants to improve their Japanese level, then you have a lot of spaces for growth in there. So it's a good chances. If you're intermediate, don't uh don't stop you. Like just try in go in there and then try and then learn and learn, and then you're gonna be advanced in there.
And actually, that's a great point, because a lot of times the terminology that's used at various companies, regardless of industry, they are words that you learn on the job. They're not
Hmm.
learned, they're not taught in any schools or textbooks. And a lot of times it's even proprietary information. So company A is going to use this word for this English word, and their company B from Japan is using a different word. So don't let that get you frustrated. Just realize you can learn on the job, and you have to prove that to the employer and say, I have the desire to learn and I have the skills to advance. So be sure to sell that about yourself when you're applying, regardless of what level you are at right now.
Hmm.
So the last level I would say is advanced or native. And for these levels, it's probably good to use your skills to help with interpreting or translating. So this is a little bit more than the informal communication that you've been doing and helping with your basic understanding or intermediate. This is actually, hey, we have this document. Can we translate this into a different language? Hey, we have this meeting. We really need you to join and help make sure that the English and Japanese, both sides, are clear. So there's a little bit more responsibility. It's a little bit more thrilling. Of course, it's very fluid. So there's lots of especially in manufacturing with new technology coming up. Sometimes you'll hear words that are brand new and you have to make it up on the spot or at least know how to describe it. But keeping in mind that when you do this interpreting, translating, sometimes you don't have to be perfect. You just have to make sure the communication continues. And if you do notice that there's something off a little bit, if you have the courage to say, "Tsutomatte kudasai," and then work through it with people. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not able to do translation or interpretation. I'm not there yet." I want to encourage people to, if you have the desire to have flow of communication between two parties, you really can be a huge help, especially in manufacturing. What do you think, Takeshi-san?
I totally agree. And also, the person who is in this level is having the past was in the intermediate level, working in Japanese company, using every day, running. Then it's gonna be in there too. So if you want to be achieved to be advanced level of the Japanese, uh, just keep it up, going, try for the intermediate level position first, and then keep using every day. Then it's gonna be very fluent for that.
Exactly. So that is basically our synopsis about manufacturing in general. We'll have more videos with regards to other industries so you have a better glimpse. But don't let the word manufacturing scare you. And don't think it's boring so much new technology is coming out. And manufacturing is what runs a good portion of America, especially in the Midwest where I'm based, in the South of America. There's so much manufacturing and it's important. And there's so many opportunities. So I hope you are able to see that next opportunity with maybe a little bit more curiosity and see, maybe I'll take a peek and understand a little bit more about this job. Anything else, Takeshi-san, before we finish?
One thing I want to add is manufacturing company gives more importance about the soft skills, and they want to train you. They are more open welcome for the entry level. So if you are entry level for going for the corporate manufacturing industry, maybe have the big wide open for the entry level positions. So let's try it out to build your career in there.
All right, so thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for joining us with our Shushoku Cafe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.